Hey y'all! Today we are building some mountain cottages. We are building here in the world of Henford-on-Bagley that came with the Cottage Living expansion pack, and we are building on this lot called 2 Old Mill Lane. It's a pretty big lot. It's at least 30 by 40 tiles, maybe even 40 by 50 tiles. I don't remember exactly, but I knew I wanted to work with a slightly bigger lot, so I would really have the space to go in and manipulate the landscape and just work with the terrain and get it exactly how I wanted. Also, just a quick note about the lighting. Right now we are building in the afternoon lighting, I believe, and don't get me wrong, it's really cute. This lot has great lighting, but in a little while I do switch it to the morning lighting because I didn't realize how cute the morning lighting was. And once I realized that, I had to switch it. So if you notice the lighting is a little different than it was in the screenshots, that is because at this point I hadn't realized how cute the morning lighting was. But yeah, just keep your eye out for that. I switched that in a minute. At this point, the general shape of the terrain has come together, and I go in with some terrain paint to add a little pathway leading up the mountain. I was originally thinking of doing a paved pathway, but then I just figured a more natural looking dirt path would fit a lot better. I've now started working on this first cabin. I'm just sort of playing around with the roof, with the shape, trying to get an idea of what looks nice here. Don't get too attached to anything that you see here because I actually do go in and change the shape quite a bit later. This was sort of just my first attempt, and to be honest, I think this first attempt turned out quite suburban-y. I've got like those dormers and it's quite symmetrical. So I do go back and change it quite thoroughly, actually. Like, I get rid of the entire second floor at one point, but I left it in just to sort of show the process. Right now I'm adding a cute little stairway slash dock moment at the front of this cabin. I loved the look of it. I felt like it added quite a bit of interest to the front of the build. The Sims don't really use this stairway for some reason. They tend to just walk up the dirt pathway and go in the back door, but I didn't want to get rid of it because I just thought it was so cute. So yeah, in a second here, we're gonna start working on the second cabin. Between you and me, this one is actually my favorite. It's got this nice sort of diagonal shape that kind of frames the lot, if that makes sense. And I add some diagonal bump outs that just make it look really cool in my opinion. And as I was working on the shape of this cabin, I realized that the space right behind it would be perfect for a third cabin. So I actually decided to take the whole lot and scoot it forward so that I could add some extra space at the back for a third cabin. So that means I have to go in and do a lot of adjusting to the terrain. So bear with me, but I'm really glad that I did that because I think it just makes the lot look so much more balanced, and it just visually is a lot better to have a third cabin back there. I do cut out quite a bit of the terrain manipulation, actually. It may not seem like it, but this is actually quite cut down. But yeah, I had to adjust the pathway because once I scooted the lot forward, it was too steep for your Sims to walk up the pathway. But I just went in with the smooth terrain tool and did some adjusting there. And I play tested it so your Sims can walk up the pathway again. And then here I am, like I said, adjusting the shape of that first cabin. I get rid of the whole second floor. I just wanted it to look more cohesive with that second cabin. And then here I go in and start working on the third cabin. Cute little bump out in the front. But yeah, you guys, I love the world of Henford-on-Bagley. It is so adorable. I think the lots are my favorite to build on. The build items in this pack are amazing. Like, listen, I know that The Sims is like stupidly expensive and like they do a lot of things to like take your money and stuff. So like, I'm not recommending that you spend money that you don't have on The Sims, but like, I do that. I spend money that I don't have on The Sims, but do as I say, not as I do. But like, if you're looking to get like one expansion pack that's really good, I definitely recommend this one. Like, don't get me wrong, High School was cool and all. It came with some great build items, but Cottage Living way better. I don't know, just an all-around great pack, my favorite. Oh, and then here I'm changing the lighting. Like I said, morning lighting, isn't it so much cuter? And like if you look at the sky, if you ever get a glimpse of the sky, it's like this really pretty deep blue color and you can see the moon and the clouds. But yeah, like I was saying, I've spent like an ungodly amount of money on The Sims. And like I'm a student, like I'm not exactly rolling in it right now. But I just like, I can't help myself. When a new pack comes out, I know it's gonna make me so happy, and like there's so, you know, like there's so few things like that in life. I convince myself that I should get it. And again, do as I say, not as I do. Like do not follow my example. But like, I don't know how I feel about the Sims 5 rumors. Have you guys heard like that rumor? The Sims has announced they're going to do a big live stream on like October 18th, and they're going to make some huge announcements, and like people are suspecting for like various reasons that it has something to do with The Sims 5 coming out soon. And like, don't get me wrong, that sounds fun and stuff, but like having poured so much money and time into this game, I don't know if I'm ready. And like my poor computer, honestly, I play The Sims 4 on my fiance's old laptop that's like barely holding on. It freezes a lot. It's like a lot to ask of this computer to run The Sims 4. And I'm worried that if I tried to play The Sims 5, it would just explode. Like I would download Sims 5 onto this computer and it would just implode, self-destruct. It would just wouldn't know what to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I am excited, don't get me wrong. And there have been Sims 5 rumors before that turned out to be totally unfounded, so for all we know, this will just be like some random announcement that has nothing to do with The Sims 5. But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. Are you excited? So I've talked over a lot of it, but I've just been figuring out wallpapers and decorating the exterior of these cabins. Here on this third cabin that we are working on right now, I decided to go with this weathered wood wallpaper from Werewolves. That's an alliteration. In this sort of like white swatch with like the brown accents. I also go with this half timbered wallpaper from Get Together for one of the roof pieces, and this gorgeous lumber wallpaper from Seasons with the stone foundation. I just think it's really pretty. I go with mostly cottage living windows, but a few base game windows. And then the roof swatch is like this gorgeous mossy roof. I've heard some people say that that roof swatch is like kind of cartoony and they don't like it for that reason, but I love it. I don't know why, but to me it doesn't seem cartoony, it's just gorgeous. So now we are doing some more landscaping work. We're adding some rocks around the edge of the lot and also throughout the lot. So this is the step that I feel like really makes this lot look like a mountain rather than just some random hills, I guess, but this is probably the most tricky step of all of them. So what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing some rocks of various sizes from the debug menu, and I am placing them where I want and then using the tool mod to get them just the right size and sort of lower them into the terrain so they look, you know, like they're coming from the terrain rather than on top of the terrain, if that makes sense. My recommendation, if you want to do some landscaping like this, is to choose some rocks with a very, very small footprint or no footprint at all. Because if you choose a rock that has like a big footprint, it can impact gameplay. Like if it interferes with an item, then you won't be able to use that item. Your Sims won't be able to walk near it if the footprint is too big. So I chose these rocks. They are from Cottage Living and they just have like the smallest footprint. It's like less than 1 tile. So that just minimizes any glitches or interference that might occur. You may have noticed I also just raise up this third cabin a little more just because I thought it would like look cuter that way. That's really the only reason I did that. And then now I'm going through and adding some evergreen trees. Some of these are from Cats and Dogs and the other ones are base game, I believe. And I don't know, I just think that it adds to the mountain look. Mountains always have evergreen trees on them, at least where I'm from. So yeah, and then I add some little patches of grass here and there. I really wanted it to look natural, like this is just the landscape that came with the mountain. Like the Sims haven't really planted their own flower beds or anything. I did add a few flowers here and there from the Romantic Garden kit, but don't worry, if you don't have the Romantic Garden kit and you want to download this, the only thing I used from that kit was flowers, so it will be very minimal, the difference. And then I go in and I add my favorite stepping stones. They didn't work so well on this like manipulated landscape. They work a lot better on flat terrain. So I just added them in some flat areas here and there. I just think they add a cute little bit of detail, and I don't know, they're so in my comfort zone. I use them in almost every single build that now I don't know how to build without them. So this is pretty much it for the exterior. I do add a few other things towards the end of the build, like a telescope and some garden plots, but the truth is that this build is very much just landscape and cabins. There's not really space for backyards or front yards or anything like that, but I actually really like that vibe. So. And now we are moving on into the interior. For this first cabin here, I picked a very simple floor plan. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, kitchen, living, dining, and then that's it. For the living room here, I went with this base game couch in this sort of olive green swatch that's very neutral and earthy, and I paired it with these Snowy Escape chairs. I picked one with the little throw on it and one without, which I thought was cute. And then, yeah, a lot of green vibes in here. The furniture is pretty green. The paintings have a pop of green in them as well. And you may have noticed the wallpaper in here is really busy. It's from Cottage Living, and I've always been too scared to use this wallpaper just because of how busy it is. But for some reason, I felt brave today and decided to use it. And I thought that the green accents in the wallpaper went really well with the green furniture, so I was really pleased with the way that that living room came out. I think it has really great cottage vibes, and yeah, I was just really happy with it. And then here we are in the kitchen. I'm trying to continue those green accents in here with this really cool wooden green fridge, as well as these green upper cabinets from the Country Kitchen kit, and a green window. So yeah, green accents. I went with this base game curtain that's just simple and white. It's a staple, one of my favorite curtains. I was so happy when they updated the base game to add a bunch of swatches, because those curtains used to only have like kids swatches, like stars and polka dots and like crazy colors. So when they went in and added like neutral swatches, I was so happy. I'm just cluttering up the kitchen with a bowl of fruit, some cooking utensils, a few little paintings here and there. I'm pretty pleased with how this kitchen turned out. I think it's like very cottagey, and I don't know, something about it is just cute. I also play tested it, so it works just fine. And then in this empty corner here, I decided to add a cute little decorational chair, and I put a flower pot on top of it and some paintings, and I thought that was just a cute little touch. And then here, moving on into the dining room, I chose this bar height table that came from the Industrial Loft kit. It's a bit industrial. Maybe the table itself doesn't give cottage vibes, but I paired it with these sunflowers and these cottagey chairs from Cats and Dogs. So I feel like that, you know, it took a not cottagey table and turned it cottagey, if that makes sense. Just adding a bit of clutter here and there before we move on into the bedroom. And I guess I was in a sunflower mood because I added the sunflower bed from base game. I never used that bed. I don't think I've ever built a house with that bed in it, but I just figured, you know, since there's such a busy vibe already from the wallpaper, I might as well go big or go home and try it out. And then I paired it with this basket full of pillows and blankets from Cottage Living that has like that same yellow color, and I thought that really just tied it together and made it cute. And there is an ensuite bathroom attached to this bedroom. I cut that out of the video though because it was getting a little long, and I don't know, long voiceovers are hard. And now we are moving on into the next cabin. It's got a bit of a darker color scheme, more dark wood tones. The layout is very simple as well. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, but I did add a little office space. Granted, it's a very small office space, but an office space nonetheless. The wallpapers are from Parenthood. This is like one of my go-to wallpapers. For some reason, I just always gravitate towards it. And then I go with these cats and dogs doors that are in this deep wood swatch. There's actually a lot of cats and dogs in this living room. The couches, the chairs, the fireplace, that little stool that I just placed down, that's all cats and dogs. I often find myself pairing cats and dogs with cottage living and also get together, just because they all give this sort of old-fashioned vibe, and that's one of my favorite things to build. I also added, you may have noticed, a little gramophone on that table there. That is actually from the high school pack. I think you can win that at prom. It's supposed to be a trophy and it only plays prom music, but I really liked the old-fashioned vibes, so I put it there. So sorry that your Sims can only listen to prom music, but I had to for the aesthetic. And now we are moving on into the kitchen. This kitchen is almost entirely country kitchen kit. Funny story, when I was playtesting this, I could not get this kitchen to work, and I couldn't figure out why for the life of me. Do you notice anything missing? There's no fridge. I didn't put a fridge. I was like trying to get my sim to cook, and I was like deleting stuff off the counter to make more space. I deleted the curtains to see if those were in the way, and I was like, why can't my sim cook? I didn't add a fridge. Your sim needs a fridge, and I felt so stupid because I had spent like 10 minutes playtesting this kitchen, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was wrong. So don't worry, the uploaded version on the gallery does have a fridge, and it's all functional. I playtested it. Oh yeah, my gallery ID will be in the description below for anyone who's interested in downloading this build or following me over on the gallery. Also, just feel free to leave a like, subscribe if this is your cup of tea. I post videos like this, usually speed builds. I have been known to do a bit of gameplay every once in a while, but I haven't been really doing that lately. If you'd like to see gameplay, feel free to leave a comment or suggest any builds you'd like to see. I always love when people leave little suggestions. Also, if you like and subscribe, then maybe I can become a famous YouTuber and drop out of school. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And if you guys could just get this video to 1 million likes and get me to 1 million subs, then I will live my best life as a famous YouTuber. But anyway, this is the little office space I was talking about. Just a desk. I even had room for a little easel. And now we are moving on into the bathroom. I think this is the only bathroom that I actually show on screen, but it's pretty simple. They're all much the same. I use this shower tub combo that gives me old-fashioned vibes. Toilet, sink. I add some towels on the wall. Yeah, and now we are moving on into this third cottage, and I think I mentioned it before, this is my favorite one. The color scheme is so cute. It's like kind of lighter and very pink, which is like maybe not super realistic for a cottage, but I just figured maybe like a mother and daughter live here who like really love bright colors, and they've just spent a lot of time decorating their cottage and making it their own. So right now we are working on this kind of kitchen and living space. I initially was thinking that it would be very open, but I couldn't really figure out the layout. Like, it just wasn't coming together. So I decided to close it off and make a separate entry and kitchen. And I just think it worked a lot better that way. It just started to come together. That does mean that there's a little awkward triangular hallway off to the side there, It may look a little funny, but it's functional. I play tested it. And yeah, I just think it's a lot cuter this way. I also got to use that couch from the new Desert Luxe kit, and I had no idea that it came in this gorgeous pink swatch. And it matched perfectly with this armchair from Cottage Living. And so I paired those two together. I went with this white rug from Werewolves that looks a little weathered. And then I add just a few skill building items, guitar, easel. I add some sketches right next to it. And yeah, I really like the way that front room turned out. Now we are moving on into the kitchen slash dining area. I went with these light wood, almost white cabinets from Cottage Living, and I paired them with the appliances from Country Kitchen Kit in this pink swatch. The sink also has a bit of pink tones, so I thought that was really, really cute. Yeah, I'm super pleased with this kitchen. It is a lot more spacious than the other kitchens, which is nice. And then I just went through the menu and picked out a bunch of cute clutter items. I especially love these little display cases with pastries in them. I put those in the corner and I think it's just so cute. The pastries are also pink, so that's extra fun. Now, in a second here, we are going to move on into the kids' bedroom, and I have to warn you, I did mess up a little bit in the kids' bedroom. I thought that you could sneak a bed into a 3-tile space and have it be functional, but I was wrong. So the bedroom that you're about to see me furnish is like not functional at all. So the uploaded version on the gallery looks a little different because I had to go in and fix everything and make sure it's functional. But yeah, like look at that. To me it looks like that bed should be functional, but it doesn't have enough space. So I had to sort of scoot it into the wall to get it to work, and I had to rearrange the furniture a little bit. So it doesn't look like this in the uploaded version, but anyway. Here we are moving into the main bedroom. I imagined a single mom lived here, but you could have 2 parents if you wanted. Yeah, very much a pink color scheme, just like the rest of the house. The bed is from Cottage Living. The curtains are from the high school pack. I add some flowers, an alarm clock, these paintings from the base game that I think are really nice, especially if you put them in the white frame. I feel like they can go in any build. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this cabin, and honestly that's pretty much it for this build, other than a few little outdoor items. As you can see, I'm adding some gardening patches, and then I do add some sort of decorative vegetables on top of 2 of these gardening patches. I add some lettuce and some pumpkins just for aesthetic purposes. So those 2 patches won't be functional, but if you delete those vegetables, they'll be functional. So that's up to you, an easy fix. And then I added chicken coop, which I think is really fun because if you put chickens in there, they're gonna wander the whole mountain. So I don't know if that's realistic. Like, I don't know if that's their natural habitat, but I just thought that would be a fun little idea. But yeah, I added a bee box and a telescope, but that's pretty much it. So I hope you liked this build and enjoy the screenshots. Bye!